Okay, guys, it's Dean, your multi-genre music man. I'm sorry I couldn't get it to go live for some reason tonight. Something's up with my internet, or I just haven't figured out the live yet. I've got to work on it. But still, for the thousandth video, I am going to play the full concert of George Jones and Randy Travis influences. The thing that I wanted to announce tonight about my format was that instead of just being all music from now on, I'm never going to change from being music. There will be always music. But what I'm going to add to it is some like murder mystery stuff, some stuff where people are being interrogated, things like that that I can watch that I will get paid for, even though I'm watching them. The other thing I'd like to add is I'm going to be telling some personal life stories. It'll say life story before it, so you know it's not a song. If you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. But I have a interesting life that I've lived that I've been in over 50 car accidents. I have stories about every one of them. I shouldn't be alive many times over for different reasons. There's things I could talk about that they don't take any money away from it. It'd be me just talking about it, so that way there'll be nothing to be taken away from monetization. It'll just be me talking. And I'm gonna do some of that stuff. If it works out and it gets liked and it's something that's popular, I'll keep doing it. If not, I'll stay with the music. I'll always stay with the music. I'll always do music every day. I just would like to add some of this other stuff that might help make me enough money to keep going so I can keep doing this. Because right now I'm not making enough to keep doing it at all. Matter of fact, I've been doing this since November, and I've made $83 off YouTube. The playing, I've only made $83 so far, and I've made maybe another $50 or $60 off people who paid me through PayPal and things like that. So it's just not worth it to do it for a year or whatever. Doing it that way, you're not making any money, and you're not making even enough to pay for your lenses and your monitors and your cameras and your lights and things like that. That's all coming out of pocket. So I've lost money, if anything. But anyway, let's get to this concert. I'd like you guys to hear it. It's a good concert. It was with George Jones and Randy Travis. It was called Influences. It was supposed to be about what influenced them, and they both influenced each other, so they did this show together. And I'll try to do a live show another night. Sorry for not being live.
We're here, Randy, to talk about influences and sing a few songs.
You influenced me a lot down through the years, as everybody knows, because I said it so often in interviews.
You was an influence of mine, too, I was just about ready to give up, and you came out with On the Other Hand. I even called the radio stations myself. I knew the old boy there and got him to play it several times because I love the song so much.
And just so you know, the only reason I picked, like, the things that I'm going to be watching, like the murder mysteries and things like that, that's the type of stuff I watch normally when I'm not doing these videos. So I figured I found out somebody was doing them live during their videos, and they were getting paid for it. And I figured, hey, if I'm going to watch them anyway, I might as well get paid for them. Some of them are just interviews of people that have done crimes, and they've done an interview to get them to admit to the crime. Some of them are stories that people tell of a crime that happened that was live. They just tell a story about that, and that's another channel I'm going to be watching. Things like that. I just wanted you to know that that's the reason. If you can think of other things you'd like to see, let me know, and I'll play them. I'm just trying to find things that I like to watch that I could get paid to watch that you know, and like telling my own stories, you know, that won't take away from anything. That will all that money will come to me because there'll be nobody I'll have to share that with. So me telling my life stories shouldn't change anything. So here's back to the music. Let's get to the music anyway. That's what we're here for.
And you're going to be doing it on the show today.
I appreciate that, George. It's great.
That gave me a lot of inspiration to want to try harder and try to make a comeback, you know, and get back on the right track.
Well, I think you've done fine. I've never heard that story before. Tell you what, see if you remember this one. This is a song that I always loved. Step right up. If you'd like to take the grand tour of a lonely house that once was home, sweet home. I have nothing here to sell you, just some things that I will tell you, some things I know will chill you to the bone.
You don't do bad, does he?
Go ahead, George.
Over there sits the chair where she brings the papers to me. You sing higher than I thought you
Sit
did.
down on my knee and whisper, oh, I love you.
You sneak this one in on me.
But now she's gone forever, and this old house will never be the same without the love that we once knew.
I think you ought to record that. I really do. Thank you.
How long has that been?
Oh, that's been early 60s, maybe.
It's been quite that long.
And I'm sorry for the how the quality of the video. It was recorded in 1991 on a VHS tape, I'm sure, and it has some skips in it. So I'm sorry about that.
That's quite a compliment. I appreciate that.
Tell me something, George. Who
But these two guys singing together should be a cherished thing that's put on gold somewhere. That should be saved forever, because these two singing together would never have happened if it weren't for this show.
influenced you a lot?
Well, I'll tell you, Randy, I'm just a little older than you are, and it goes way back in the late 30s when I first started listening to the Grand Ole Opry on Saturday nights and over around Saratoga, Texas, and of course, naturally, it was Roy Acuff and Bill Monroe and a lot of the staff that they had at the time, but Roy Acuff had to be my favorite, and I begged my mama to, I know I'm going to sleep, but I said, please wake me up if I go to sleep, because when Roy Acuff comes on, I got to hear him sing The Great Speckled Bird, A Wabash Cannonball.
Do me a little Roy Acuff there.
What a beautiful thought, I'm thinking concerning the great speckled bird. Remember her name that was recorded on the pages of God's holy word. He was a great one back in those days, and he still is, you know.
Well, he sure is. He's a character, too. He's fun to be
Who
around.
did you really got that inspired you? I mean, right
You
at-
mentioned Hank,
when you
huh?
was real little, you know, when you was...
You mentioned Hank, and I remember Hank as the first that I really heard and fell in love with, I guess. And as a few years went on, you know, I started singing when I was 8, and so I started singing Hanks to start with. And
But
then along
were
came
you
you.
hearing, were you hearing like at the same time, about the same time, were you hearing Ernest Tubb and?
Oh yeah.
And,
yeah, I heard everything country radio
Bill
played
Monroe
back
and
then.
all these
yeah.
people.
And you know, radio then was a lot different than it is now.
It sure was.
It's been about 20 years ago. It's hard to believe, but it's been almost 20 years ago now. And yeah, I sang your songs. I sang Hank, Lefty. I sang all.
I didn't know
of
I
them.
went back that far.
Well, okay. A few years later, I sang you.
Do you know one of Hank Williams' big records was "I'll Never Get Out of This World Alive." It happened to be the latest release when he died.
Yeah, somebody told me that story a while back. I
I'll
didn't
Never
realize
Get Out of
that.
This World Alive, and
Matter
I've
of
always
fact.
kind of shied away from those titles.
Good
Why don't you do
choice.
just a little bit of that for me?
I think I can remember some of it. Now you're looking at a man's getting mighty mad. I've had a lot of luck, but it's all been bad. No matter how stubborn and strive, I'll never get out of this world alive. My fishing pole is broke, the creek is full of sand. My
I should have explained in the beginning. The first half of this, they do other people's music, and the second half, they do their own music. It's just the way they did it to show their influences of different people that influenced them in their life. And the second half, they did each other's music. They did their own music.
I wanna run away with my hired hand, no matter how I struggle and strive. I'll never get out of this world alive. My distant uncle passed away and left me quite abashed. And I was living high until that fatal day. Lord, you proved I wasn't born, I was only hatched. Now everything's against me and it's got me down. If I jump in the river, I would probably drown. No matter how I struggle and strive, I'll never get out of this world alive.
Well, you had to like old Hank, that's for sure.
Oh, I love
That
Hank.
sound almost like him. I'll tell you.
You know, you and I both know a guy in this business right now, and another person I've been fortunate enough to work with some and become friends with. And I tell you, I look forward one of these days to writing a song with him, because he was like you know. I guess I started listening to him about the same time I did you and singing his songs. And that's old Haggard. And,
Well, I'll tell you what, I knew you was going to mention his name, and he is my favorite singer.
Mhm.
I guess I love a lot of singers, but he is my favorite over all.
Merle's hard to beat, he really is.
And you ain't heard the last of him yet, I don't think.
Oh, no.
He
Merle
sings too
always-
good.
He does. He's a great singer, and in fact, this is a song I used to sing a lot of.
He's actually George Jones' favorite singer after Hank Williams Jr. He mentioned it one time when he was singing with George Jones. He goes, "You're my favorite singer after Hank Williams Jr." He goes, "You definitely are my favorite singer after him, for sure."
Tonight. Oh, wait a minute.
Wrong key.
We start over.
Wrong song,
We can
wrong
start over.
key.
I'm glad about that. That's embarrassing. I went to the wrong key. I went to the wrong song, too. I'm looking at a list here. See, we got all these written down with keys.
Well, I want you to know I was ready.
George Jones is ready to hear a good song.
Oh, man, that come out. Oh, I was ready to hit a good lick there, and you messed me up.
Doggone, I thought I was ready, too.
You don't start that over?
Let's do that in another gear. Tonight, the bottle going down. Can let your memory come around. The one true friend I thought I found. Tonight, the bottle, bring it too.
I've always heard good things about you.
And lately I've been turning every day. But the wine don't take effect the way it used to. And I'm hurting in an old familiar way. Tonight the bottle let me down, and let your memory come around. The one true friend I thought I found. Tonight the bottle let me down. Well, remembered some of it, didn't I?
But you know, it's people like this, like we're talking about.
There's a lot of good songs these guys are playing from a lot of good singers, you know, that throughout their lives influenced them. And there's just a lot of good hits here.
That has really influenced.
That's why I wanted you guys to hear
not
it.
only myself, but a lot of people my age, and just like you know, people are that influenced you when you started, and all the new fresh country talent that is doing such a great job right now getting started, and they're doing 3 or 4 hits. Most of them have already, just going to the top just like that all the time. And they're going to have their influences. They've got their influences, and
I'll tell you what, flatter you for a second, I'll guarantee you there's not one of the new ones out there that would, if you were to ask them who influenced them, you couldn't find one that wouldn't say you influenced some of them.
Well, I love them for saying it, but I wish they'd quit a while because they're making me feel awful old. Do you remember an old song, though, that Ernest Tubb, I know did this, but it seemed like somebody else done it a while or so before Ernest Tubb did his version of it. And I thought maybe it might have been Bob Wills, but I'm not positive. But it was an old tune called I'm Driving Nails in My Coffin. You remember that?
Yeah, I think I could remember some of it.
I gotta know. Echo, who sang Driving Nails in My Coffin first?
Those Darlings performed Driving Nails in My Coffin.
Those Darlings sang it first. That's who he was trying to think of, those Darlings.
I'm just driving nails in my coffin every time I drink a bottle of booze. I'm just driving nails in my coffin, driving these nails over you. My sweetheart has gone and I'm so lonesome. She said that she'd lie her through. So I started out drinking for pastime, driving nails in my coffin over you. I'm just driving nails in my coffin every time I drink a bottle of booze. I'm just driving nails in my coffin, driving these nails over you. Yeah, I'm just driving those nails over you.
A couple more times we rehearse, I can get that with you. I remember one time in Beaumont, I was playing on a Sunday afternoon at a drive-in. It was really a drive-in. You drive in to order your food and your drinks, you know, out. They sold beer and all that, you know, and get it on your tray in the car, and they sit out there, and you sit out there in front on a little stage and sung to them outdoors, you know.
Well, that'd be different. I've never done that before.
And this song right here came out. I think they put it on the jukebox on the Saturday before that Sunday. And I learned it. I stayed up all night that night and learned it, and I sung it all day on that show. I'd sing 3 songs, I'd sing that one again. Finally, they just started driving away. They got tired of the song. But I think it's one of the greatest things that Merle ever did. Today I love you again. Now right back where I've really always been. Go ahead. I got over you just long enough to let my heartaches mend. And today I started loving you again.
You know, George, there's a guy that I know he was one of your favorites and one of mine too when it comes to country singers, and he influenced a lot of people in a singing style, I guess is the best way to put it, and probably you before anybody else. There's a guy named Lefty Frizzell.
Frizzell, sorry.
He was such a stylist, such a great stylist, and he recorded wonderful songs too. And I'm probably like you. I sang a lot of his songs down through the years, and in fact, I know one right now we could probably do a little bit of. Lefty always seemed to pull out little licks that hardly anybody else could sing.
I'm telling you.
Always late with your kisses. Won't you come to my arms, sweet darling, and stay? Why do you want to do me this way? How long do you think I can wait when you know you're always late? Always late with your kisses.
I always thought this was a Merle Haggard song because every time I'd hear it sung, it would be by Merle Haggard. And Merle Haggard doesn't do it justice compared to these guys. These guys sing it much better, and I haven't heard Frizzell sing it yet, but I'm sure it's going to be even better. They said that he sings it in a style that nobody else can sing, so it's going to be even better than this.
Why do you want to do me this way?
One more time, do that ending like you would do it.
Why do you want to do me this way?
Now we're going to come do what we really don't know.
Something we know.
Now they're going to start doing the songs that they really came to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, George Jones and
Now they hear, whoop, I don't know what happened there. Somehow I skipped it. I'll get it
A
back.
couple more times we rehearse.
Sorry, I'll get it
pull
back.
out little licks that hardly
They was going to ever get loud enough so we could come back. Y'all are great.
Anyway, this is where they start singing the songs that they actually know, the songs that they normally sing. And they come back on stage and people yelled and screamed enough so they finally came back on stage after their break.
Well, let's get started with a song. I guess that's the best thing we ought to do. That's one of the few things we know, I guess.
All right, if I got time.
A few old country boys, yeah, one we recorded together. Not too many years ago, when dreams weren't coming true, I need more inspiration. Sometimes it would be you. I hear Say it's good to know there's still a few old country boys around.
You know, they're both singing perfectly, but I gotta ask you if you think that Randy Travis kind of held it up for the whole video, the whole concert, kind of kept it together. You know, when George Jones would get off a little bit, he'd kind of bring him back, rein him in a little bit. Even at the beginning of the song, he said, "Do I have enough time to sing the song?" And I don't know what he meant by that, but Randy said, "Yeah, the song we sang together, we're gonna sing it right now." He asked if he had time to sing it. I think something was going with his memory, and Randy Travis was kind of keeping him on board. This was obviously before Randy Travis had his stroke and before George Jones died.
It's hard to tell what's coming down the line. We heard you were finished train coming out of Carolina. We wondered what Randy was doing when he rolled into town. Say it's good to know there's still a few old country boys around. Must have felt that same old feeling more than once or twice. Guitars pressed against our hearts under the neon light. It's good to know that feeling is the best friend I have. Lord, it's good to know there's still a few country boys around. There's a lot of truth, you know, in that kind of song about the life you're living and how love's done you wrong. As long as there's a jukebox and a honky-tonk in town, Lord, it's good to know there's still a few old country boys around. Say it's good to know there's still a few country boys around.
I love the way he ends the song. It's almost like Forever and Ever and Amen. He ends it in a perfect way. Sounds beautiful.
Tell you what, if I didn't know better, I would have went back years and a few years ago, and that would have been Lefty Frizzell, the way you ended that. You had to hear some of his songs.
Oh, I heard a lot of Lefty.
Fantastic, Randy.
I tell you what, George, you've been one of my influences for several years now. I grew up listening to you, singing your songs, and I imagine most of this audience and most of the people who are in this business right now would agree that you've influenced more people in this business than anybody else.
Well, thank you, Randy. Thank you.
This is one of my favorite songs that you ever recorded, and I wish you'd go ahead and sing it. You Stop Loving Her Today.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite songs George Jones ever recorded too. It's a very, very good song.
He said, I love you till I die. She told me for everything. I watched the years pass slowly by. She still prayed on his mind. Kept her pictures on his wall. Went half crazy now and then. He still loved her through it all, hoping she'd come back again. Found love letters by his bed. In 1962, he had underlined in red every single I love. I went to see my friend today. Oh, and I didn't see no tear. He was all dressed up to go away. First time I'd seen him smile in years. He stopped living hard today. They placed a wreath upon his door. Sunbelt carried him away. He stopped loving her today. You know, she came back today for her last time. Boy, and we all wondered if she would. And it kept running through my mind. Well, this time, he's over her for good. He stopped loving her. They placed a wreath upon his door. Sundown carried him away. He stopped loving her today.
That has been on the #1 country music record for, I believe it's 70 years or 60 years now. For every country music book that comes out every year, it's the #1 song of the year every year for like the last 50 or 60 years. It's a very good song.
That's great, George. Great job. Wonderful song, too. You know, that song, I used to sing it a lot in the clubs for several years, and I guess that's one of the most requested songs that I ever did. I guess this is the first song that we found when we started looking for tunes, and the first song that was released, and unfortunately the third one too, because it didn't do quite as well as we wanted it to the first time around. So, well, thank you, George. Hope you'll remember it.
On one hand,
In case you didn't hear it, this is George Jones' favorite song of Randy Travis's. It's actually one of my favorites too. It's my second favorite song he ever wrote. It's called On the Other Hand.
and I can't believe I can stay with you and hold you close to me all night long.
your lips, I felt so alive. I've got to hand it to you, girl. You're something else. But on the other hand, there's a golden land to remind me of someone who would not understand. On one hand, I could stay and be your loving land, but the reason I must go is on the other hand. You're the reason I must go is on the other hand.
That's my favorite song. When you just sing, you just sing. That's
Well,
great.
thank you, George. Now, this next song we're about to do, what year did this song come out?
56? No,
50.
Race is On. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I'll go back again. It was the early 60s.
Was it?
I'm
I was
always
thinking,
saying
you know
the
what
early
I read? I was thinking it was 59.
Everything really good happened to me in 56. I don't know why I'm on this early 60s.
I was thinking it was 59 because I was born in 59, and I was reading an article that said that this song was number one song when I was born.
Well, in 59 was White Lightning.
White Lightning, that's the
and Wind
one.
Up
Okay,
Above.
that's the one. That's one.
And this was right after She Thinks I Still Care.
Oh, okay. I'm mixing up the songs.
Yeah.
But I love this song.
See, you're so young, you just don't remember.
What?
When you get my age, son, you're going to remember.
That's the way it works. Okay.
That's the way it works.
I look forward to that. Sing this song. I feel tears welling up, going deep inside like diamonds from a big tank. And the stab of loneliness shone thankful. I may never ashamed. You might say that I was taking it hard when you wrote me off of the ball. Don't you figure that'll hide the sorrow? I may lay right down and bawl. Well, the race is on. I'm riding the backstretch. Heartache, I go on in the inside. My tears are holding back. They're drying up the wall. Heart's out of the running. I'm stuck for another say. The race is on. Just like heartache. And the winner loses all. One day I ventured in love, never once suspecting what the balance was on. I was in the dinner, waking up each morning, thinking that you're gone with me. Well, I'm waiting, baby, my heart for the day of the morning, and I hated to think somebody new came up when her arm and love is hold me back.
Sure, the race is on.
Heartaches are going to the inside. My tears are holding back. They're turning up the wall. Heart's out of the running. For another shade. Race is on. Looks like heartache. And the winner loses all. Hey, hey, winner loses all. Good to hear that. I think you got a hit there for sure.
Well, I hope so. It's our brand new record, I guess. Everybody knows by now. And,
Great song. Boy, you sing it.
MCA.
That's tailor-made for you. I'd love to hear you do Who's Gonna...
Well, I was just gonna say we're a little past
When you get
halfway.
my age, son, you're going to remember.
A little past halfway, and we should be just about there. It's been 35 out of 60 minutes, so we're getting close. We're past halfway point. We're at 35 minutes out of 60, so we should be getting close.
That's a great song. Good to hear that. I think you got a hit there for sure.
Well, I hope so. It's our brand new record, I guess. Everybody knows by now. And,
Great song. Boy, you sing it.
MCA.
That's tailor-made for you. I'd love to hear you do Who's Gonna Fill Their Shoes.
Do I have to do that?
I think
Another
we
good
got
song.
George.
Real good song.
You know, this old world is full of singers, but just a few chosen to tear your heart out when they sing. Imagine life without all your radio heroes, like the outlaw that walks through Jesse's dreams. No, there'll never be another red-headed stranger, a man in black and Folsom prison blue. The Okie from Muskogee. Hello, darling. Lord, I wonder who's gonna fill their shoes. Who's gonna fill their shoes? Who's gonna stand there tall? Who's gonna play the outfield and the Wabash Cannonball? Who's gonna give their heart and soul to me and you? Oh, I wonder who's gonna fill their shoes? God bless the boys from Memphis, blue suede shoes and Elvis. Much too soon we left this world dear. They tore up the 50s. Oh, Jerry Lee and Charlie, and Go Cat Go still echoes through the years. But you know the heart of country music, it still beats in the dirt. You can tell when he sings our soul. Oh, Marty and Lefty, oh, I can feel him right here with me on this silver eagle rolling through the night. Who's gonna fill their shoes? Who's gonna stand there tall? Who's gonna play the opera and the Wabash Cannonball? Who's gonna kill their heart and soul to me and you? Lord, who's gonna fill their shoes? Yes, I wonder who's gonna fill their shoes.
About 21 more minutes of the concert left, and it'll be over.
You know, George, of course, in my first year on the road, I worked a lot of shows with you, and some of the memories I guess I have from those days. I would of course open the shows and then watch your show probably 90% of the time. And I remember old Pee Wee, the first time he ever did this to me, he come at me, said, "You stay right here." And I
Are
said,
you talking
"Okay."
about Pee Wee, the bus driver?
Your driver, yeah.
He's the world's oldest bus driver.
That's right.
I'm proud of him
I heard you
because
tell
he's
that.
still got stamina. He's still ready
Pee
to
Wee's
go at
quite a
74.
character.
You know?
I've been knowing him about
74 years old,
He's a
driving,
good guy.
bus
But I
driver.
remember him coming to get me and say, "Stand right
Awesome.
here," that first night, and then you called me up to sing one with you. And I don't know, it seemed like an audience likes that or appreciates that as much as any show you could do. Something kind of different when you come up
Hey,
do something off the wall.
you had a great record or so, or you might have had your second one at the time. And listen, you was a lot hotter with the first record out than what you realized, because I stood back and watched you tear them up, even though you had to do some other songs because you didn't have a catalog yet.
When I wasn't working with you, I was pulling out your songs and doing it.
But I had a
I'll tell you what, let's do a song together. I know Roy Acuff, you like Roy a lot, and he's a good friend of mine. He's a good old guy, quite a character. But let's do an old tune of his called the Wabash Cannonball. See if we
Great
can do it.
song, great song.
From the great Atlantic Ocean to the wide Pacific shore, from the Queen of Flowing Mountains to the hill and by the shore, she's mighty tall and handsome and not quite wild by all. She's a combination of the Wabash Cannonball. Listen to the jingle of the rumble and the roar as she rides along the woodland to the hill and by the shore. Hear the mighty rush of the engine, get an open hose call. She's traveling through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball. She came down from Birmingham on cold summer day. As we rolled into the station, you could hear all the people say, "There's a gal from Tennessee, she's long and she's tall. She came down from Birmingham on the Wabash Cannonball." Listen to the jingle, the rumble, and the roar as she glides along the woodlands to the hill and by the shore. Hear the mighty rush of the engine, hear that lonesome horse squall. She's traveling through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball. She's traveling through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball. Well, let's keep it going. I think we got them on our side now. Let's keep it going.
I don't believe that we have ever had a crowd this wonderful.
I believe you're right.
2 more songs, I believe. 2 more.
And we didn't have to travel anywhere. That's what's so
I'm pretty
great about
sure.
it. We stayed at home to do it. Tell you what, let's do an old Hank Williams song.
Yeah, 2 more songs.
Yeah, that lonesome whirlwind, he sounds too blue to fly. That midnight train is winding low. I'm so lonesome I could cry. I'd never sleep by night so long when time goes on by. The moon just went somehow I could cry. I'm so lonesome I could cry.
One more song.
One more song. Go ahead and kick it off,
So aimless, I will be singing. I would leave my to say you in. And Jesus came like a strong night. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. Just like a blind man, I wandered along. Worried and feared I claimed on my own. Just like a blind man, gotta get back inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I saw the light. I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I was a fool to wander astray. Straight is the gate and narrow the way. Now I have traded wrong for right. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I saw the light. I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I saw the light. I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. Praise the Lord, I saw the light.
If you know anything about music, who made that song famous was Luke the Drifter. Hank Williams Sr. sang that song mostly. It was sang in churches and stuff as well, but Hank Williams Sr. got it going. I hope this whole recording recorded and will air. I'm sorry I couldn't get it to go live. Anyone knows how to get a song to go live while I'm airing my face and the video and get it to go live? Could you let me know how in the comments? That way I can do a live version at some point. And as for changing my format, like I said, it's not going to change a whole lot. It's still going to be music. There's just going to be some like murder mystery type stuff, some confession type stuff, and some stuff about my personal life, stories about my personal life that I'm going to tell that will make it so it'll be all my money, and it won't be split with a music singer or something like that. Songs that about my life, I mean stories about my life, I can tell that I would get 100% of the profit. Just so that, and if you like what you hear, please hit like on either the murder mysteries or the stories about my life, so I know which ones that you like and don't like, and I can kind of find ones that are closer to the ones you guys like. Otherwise, this is Dean saying have a good night. I'm sorry that this didn't go live, but hopefully it'll take and it will record and it will go on live. for everybody to see. This is Dean saying have a good night. See you next time.